It was a decision that I'm sure Cedric Van Pran struggled with, but coming back to try to win another national championship, a big decision for Cedric Van Pran. Here's what he said about Ladd McConkey coming back, because he was asked about himself coming back, and he started talking about Ladd a little bit. He said, "It's amazing. Ladd's decision to come back will help the team. It's essential. Ladd is a great guy. I was really, really excited that he was coming back. He's a really big piece for us, and I'm happy for him." Cedric Van Pran started, Ryan, 30 games for Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. It may be more than 30. And he really did think about leaving. Now that he's back, though, another adult is in the room.
Yeah, well, look, Cedric Van Pran would have been drafted if he went. Where? I have no idea. But he would be in the NFL right now if he wanted to be. That was an option for him. And Kirby said it boiled down to two main things with Cedric.
Okay.
One, he loves the University of Georgia. Two, he wants to be unequivocally the best at his position. When he heads into, he wants to be the best center in football. He wants to be that number one center heading into the draft. And he said that it boils down to those two things. But when you bring back people like Cedric Van Pran, especially when there is off the field stuff, there are distractions. Yeah. And having more adults, that was a good way to put it, having more adults in the room matters. I think that all three of the guys today that are here are adults in their own ways.
So I've read what Cedric said about Ladd coming back. Here's what Cedric said about himself coming back, because I've been in the room.
There's a lot going on today.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on.
So he said it was a couple of different things. This is Cedric Van Pran talking about coming back. He says a couple of different things. Ultimately, what really brought me back was the love for the guys in the locker room. It's a pleasure to see. It's a pleasure to share a locker room with Brock Bowers. It's a pleasure to share a locker room beside Tate Ratledge. It's just an honor to be around those guys. I think that's what allowed me to be invested. The love for the guys in the locker room. I get it. I think once you're not a part of a team anymore, for those of us who played in college and then it goes away, that is the best part. Is the way y'all talk about it now is it's me and my boys and all this. They got 85 boys, or 84 in that case. But Cedric, I think what should not be undersold here is having adults in the room. I don't mean this bad from last year's team. I don't know who the adults in the room were. Cedric, though, was a team captain, so he was one of the adults at minimum.
Yeah, guys like him and
Nolan
and Christopher Smith, right? But
yes.
Some of the adults are gone. Some of the adults are gone. Nolan Smith was kind of your number one guy in that.
He was
but Christopher Smith.
Well, Christopher Smith maybe.
To an extent, Stetson, right? Obviously, Stetson does some stupid stuff sometimes, but Stetson was bigger than football for Georgia, and that's a whole different thing. But yeah, Cedric coming back shocked me when I first saw it. I was like, why? You're probably gonna go in the third or fourth round of the NFL draft. And it's the buy-in to what Georgia is. Yeah. It's the buy-in, and I think we talked about it a lot last summer, was the buy-in and what it would take for them to do it again. And here we are a year later, and it's the same thing. But people like Cedric Van Pran are going to be the reason why they're successful.
Speaking of buying, make sure you're picking up our Double Dogs, which has got an extensive look at Georgia's 2022 National Championship season. I'm going to flip it just here's Kirby calling the timeout. Why can't you shoot photos like that, Ryan?
I'm sure, you know what? I have plenty of spectacular images in that book.
You do. There's one right there. But when you get this, you get our 2023 preview. Make sure you pick them up. This is not a promotion that's going to last forever. This is something that you're running out of time on, so you've been warned. And it really is a good the season preview, which I'm having a hard time handling, is really, it's not just pictures of Stetson and Kirby. There's other stuff in there too. So pick it up. It's exclusive to Dog Post. It's down below. And our friends at Red Zone got it too. So make sure you're picking that up today. But one thing I wanted to say is I was looking at images last night. I've only now gotten through the images of the Peach Bowl. And one of the people on the stage was Cedric Van Pran.
Yes.
So it was Kirby, Cedric Van Pran, Kirby, Cedric, Nolan, Stetson, and Christopher Smith. So it was those four and Kirby. And it looks like it will be Cedric, Brock Bowers, Lassiter, and I don't know who the other person could be.
It'd probably be a rotation. You'll see guys like Dejan Edwards and Kendall Milton and
Dejan Edwards is so good. And we don't talk about him now. I mean, he is really difficult to deal with.
He's their returning leading rusher. I mean, he was their second leading rusher last year.
There's no particularly spectacular player besides, I guess, Brock Bowers, if you want to say that. But, like, there's no, like, sort of one player. In many ways, Cedric is like an everyman. And it's kind of a wrong way to put it. Like, is Cedric an All-American candidate?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
yeah.
But I asked him today, hey, tell me about the play, a play that you made during the season. And he couldn't remember it because it says all blur, which I actually understand where he's coming from with that. But he said with offensive line it's harder. But he did nail down something eventually after thinking about it for a while about a play he made against Oregon where he got down the field and so forth. But we don't think of offensive linemen as making plays. But like Isaiah Wynn made plays, Cedric Van Pran makes plays, and you're not up on that stage as a captain at Georgia unless you matter in a very not just player way but adult way.
Yeah, another thing about Cedric, he was here last year.
He was.
That was going in his third year. He was a redshirt sophomore.
Right.
I mean, being appointed to go to media days as a redshirt sophomore tells you
deal.
what Kirby and the staff and the players think about Cedric as a leader. He is always very, very thoughtful with the way he speaks. He's always saying yes, sir. Like I had to tell him not to say that to me once.
Because you're his age.
Because I was like, dude, I think I'm like a year older than you, maybe. But he's kind of your stereotypical just good kid, right? Like it's kind of like it's kind of what you get out of it. Different guy, not as interested in art and stuff like that. Yeah. I had a conversation with him about that one time too, but he'll be important because leadership maturity matters not just in these times when there's off the field distractions, but it matters on the field too when you're down or when you're up in the fourth quarter, right? There are moments to where any player on the team can be a leader, right? The Missouri game, Darnell Washington showed that, right? Is Darnell Washington a guy that we thought of at Georgia last few years as one of Georgia's leaders? He was such a quiet guy. No, I mean,
no, you didn't think about it
that way.
He was at a Mizzou game.
Yeah, and that's something where I think having guys like Cedric Van Pran around and like in the past with Nolan Smith, guys that can be motivators and guys that the other players trust, I think lets other people be able to step up to the plate when the moment matters too.
So you said off the field distractions.
Yeah, I mean that's
right. So it's also being a dumbass, which I think basically Cedric directly. This is the part that to me Cedric said it that way without the harshness of the way that I put it. He said we definitely made some mistakes and we've been pushing guys to make sure we're conscious of how we're affecting the university. We want to respect and show love to the people who really support us. Coach Smart has really tried to emphasize to guys that we need to take care of the university. It means a lot to him. I think he's done a tremendous job of making sure we know what it truly means, and when we make those mistakes. He also went on to add, I don't have the quote with me. It's basically what he says right here. He said, to be honest, a bunch of guys spoke to the team. So there was some reporting, I don't know where or who, if it was message board stuff or not, but talking about how, it might have been Kirby. I think it was Kirby that actually said it. Now that I think about it, about guys talking to the team about they're going too fast.
Yeah.
And Cedric said this. To be honest, a bunch of guys spoke to the team when he was asked if it was just him. He said it's been understood that we have to do better. We must do better. We know mistakes happen, but that can't mean it's acceptable. Mistakes happen, and you own them and move on, but you can't keep allowing them to happen. Hello? I mean, that's exactly right. That's why I call him an adult. Yeah,
because that's Cedric Van Pran said that, right? Doesn't
yes,
that sound
that's Cedric Van
like
Pran.
not like a 21-year-old would say?
Well, I think you do have to say, hey, quit going so damned fast, period. Like, and I say this as a person who's sped in his lifetime. Kirby talked about this today too. When you are younger, you drive too damn fast. You just do.
I have
It's
a super
stupid.
speed. Look, I'll be very, very.
No,
like,
now
frank about
we're
that.
just putting everything on the table.
I messed up one time too. Like it happens, but
But
it
it
doesn't
should-
mean that it's acceptable. Right?
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that like, oh, okay, right? I mean,
Because is it acceptable for you to put others at risk? It is not. Is it acceptable for you to put yourself at risk? It is not. Is it acceptable for these guys? They want to talk about better. What is the phrase again? Better
never rests.
Are you really doing the right thing by not doing the right thing off the field? This is trademark Dean Legge right here. If you can be disciplined on the field, you can be disciplined off it. And it's not just going to hurt people on the team, it could hurt people in the community too. And that would really, really, you want to talk about a black eye for the university. And these guys are doing manual labor for the university. There's a lot of accolades and all this stuff and all this discussion of, why don't we share the money? These guys are doing the work. Well, I think Cedric's one of the guys, it seems to me, now I don't know Cedric Van Pran, but it seems to me like he's one of the guys that makes the most sense in all of this.
It makes the most sense
as it relates to, it makes the most sense. He's an adult, and I like that. He's consistently providing insight into doing things the right way. Maybe that's the reason why that since he's been the starter, Georgia's been 29-1. Maybe it's not the only reason, but
no,
he's
but
certainly
he
contributed to
is
that.
a piece of that. You can't look at.
I mean,
this.
he's a starting center.
Yeah, he's like that is one of the
He
most
almost
important
left.
positions. Yeah.
So, I mean, Matt DeBerry did a lot of very good reporting on this. We're not going to talk about who he's talking to, but Matt was like, I don't know if he's going to leave or not, because there was a lot of discussion that he would leave, but Matt got that right at the end of the day. Thanks for watching.